Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for a very exciting match here. It's a three-player free-for-all on a rather bizarre map for a free-for-all, it must be said. And we have two Zergs and a Terran, one of which is relatively new. And also, it's Kasuga, who is normally a Protoss player. So to feature him on the channel as a Terran player, I mean, that is very interesting already. He's going to be in the top left here as our Tyrian purple player, Terran player, of course. And this is Tesseract, a map I ported. It's a port of Luna. Not the most balanced map, so definitely going to be an interesting route here. Jakulangski in the top right. I'm going to say he is beige. He is. Okay, I'm getting the hang of that color. That one's not showing up every so often. He's in the top right, and he is the Zerg player. And a second Zerg player, Art of Turtle, in the bottom right as our... he always goes after the Japanese violet. So we have gotten full color guesses. Very exciting, very epic. And Jakulangski already talking about the Malkothra Core. It's a very powerful Zerg unit for tier 3 that he conceptualized a long time ago. Well, I conceptualized, but he saw the concept for it and he was like, oh my god, I must have this. And I was like, sorry, dude, it's going to be a lot to implement. And, you know, maybe it's just not something that we can really have. And he's like, well, what if I pay you $300? And so I was like, all right, yeah, sure. It ended up being a bit less than that because, you know, currencies, conversions, taxes, etc. But Jakulangski has come through. Some of that money is courtesy of him winning tournaments and then putting it into, you know, winning inside tournaments and putting his money into that, his winnings into that. So that is a wrap on that one. He came through with the rest of the cash, and so we'll be doing that. But anyway, this is the kind of thing you can get. You can get exciting new units added to the game if you just pay me enough money. Now, with all that said, Jakulangski is going to go for the Larvosk, Quaseth Pool, and I guess second Larvosk build is what's coming up here. Yeah, indeed. And down here, Art of Turtle is rocking out with his second Quas. Both of the Zerg players playing very similarly, but Kasuga's already out here with his mech build. He goes Fulcrum first, and he dives forward with a Vulture. What kind of value is he going to get? Looks like he's good for killing the first set of Really Road Cores. Only one more pair is on the way, which feels like maybe a bit of a missed opportunity here for Jakulangski. He might end up losing more than he's really bargaining for. Remember, Kasuga does have some money in the back, but he has queued up another Mason, so at least there's that. Of course, as the Burrow comes out there, ooh, cheeky, he still had the mine going this whole time. Oh, he stuns everything! That is brilliant. This is where all the action is right now in this free-for-all. It looks like the Vulture will go ahead and X-Scar, lives with 10 points of health. Oh, he's actually going to get run down. He only needs 2 more Zeth hits to do it, but I think the Vulture can micro this pretty much infinitely. Ooh, narrowly ends up avoiding death there. One more hit would have done it. So behind this, he has gone for double Fulcrum, and he's going into Blackjack's. Third Fulcrum has already started. His worker count looking the best in the lobby, but, you know, he killed one of Jack's, delayed the other. And of course, AOT just kind of normally goes for a little bit more military than the early stages of the game. The neutral monuments that's in here in the middle kind of like serve as a thing that you can fight around in the very otherwise open middle of this map. So it's a little area that you can use to try to sort of play around. That second Vulture, not nearly as successful. It comes a little too late, and AOT already had his Circuit up, so Quaz just gun it down immediately. I'll have to be watching the minimap like a hawk with those 2 purple colors. But that's what I do. That's what I'm good at. The Ovaleth scouts it out. AOT recognizing where one of his enemies is. I don't think he's spotted Jack yet, but looks like maybe he's going to be patrolling that particular area. I think when you're in an FFA, you can be the guy who attacks first and just kind of tries to throw something at your enemy. It's good to, you know, get your name out there, put yourself in their mind. But generally speaking, especially a 3-player FFA on a 4-player map, you kind of want to just take your territory, be kind of defensive, and just try to hold on for as long as possible, knowing that the odds are, you know, it's at least 50-50 that your opponent is going to get attacked by the other guy in the lobby, right? And maybe if everything goes well, your opponent will be the one who, like maybe even if they attack you as well, like both players attack you, well, maybe the second one will distract the first one, right? That's another option. So no expansion for either, any of our players, I should say. We do have a Phalanx on the way for Kasuga, as well as a 4th Fulcrum. His macro doing pretty well overall. A couple of idle Masons, but he's doing well for himself. And if this is what we can expect out of his Protoss play, I'd say he probably stands a pretty good chance in his group that I still have not yet casted from the March Invitational. I was going to wait for Nebline, but he's very, very busy lately, apparently. So I'm just going to go ahead and fine, I'll do it myself. So AOT looking to expand to 6 o'clock instead of the normal natural, an interesting choice. Vultures now rallying across the map. They will be spotted by AOT's Ovaleth there. But, you know, as he comes out here and he starts peppering down the quads a little bit, he is going to have to watch out, right? He doesn't seem to have any mines. He's already used them. He picks 2 quads for 1 vulture. Not really the most cost efficient, but he sees that there's an expansion coming. So looks like everybody is expanding at around the same time, funnily enough. And it's been 8 Nather cores made by Monsieur AOT. A couple have already been made for Jack as well, so we could get into a Quaz v Quaz and Nath v Nath fight. There is anti-air, of course, for Kasuga. He has the Blackjacks. Doesn't look like he has any static defense, but doesn't necessarily really need it. He's actually using the Nather cores, of all things, to pick the lobotomy mines. That's a very funny tactic. And here come the Blackjacks to kind of scare this off. Oh, no! He's actually picked the... Oh, that is just brutal. The Nather cores killed a mine while the Ovaleth was over it. They get slowed by it. That's called getting hoisted by your own petard. I say that all the time when I see, you know, a couple of... Oh, no. Oh, no. Hold that thought. Hold that thought. Burrow, the lake is... Whew. Okay, thank goodness. He almost lost that. But yeah, I say that all the time when a Terran player gets stunned by their own mines. Yeah, as it turns out, you can do that to yourself as well. So we're in a Nath dogfight there. Or a Nath fight, I guess. I don't need to say dogfight. We do have a couple of Gorga cores on the way for AOT. The ski back coming up for Jack. We saw him build. He kills his own quads for some reason. This isn't a game with supply, so I don't know why he did that. But we do obviously have a lot of idle workers that Jack just now sends mining. The quads chase away the AOT. The Nather core. That is Art of Turtle. There are 8 Art of Turtles on the way. No, obviously he's going to go after the workers here. Good burrow reaction time there for Jack and immediately gets him back to mining. That is what you love to see. That is what you love to see. Now, these Larvosks could be poked at here, but we do have some quads. I don't know if they were hatching or if they were just there. It looks like they were just hanging out there for a bit. Very, very smart play from Jack, playing pretty defensively. This is kind of like what have we seen so far in this game, right? It's like Kasuga sends vultures out pretty nimble, fairly expendable, and you get some map control with the mines. He sends those across and gets some value there. Another Ovaleth going to go down here for Art of Turtle. Man, Art of Turtle's Ovaleths are really not long for this world whenever they show up. A couple of Gorga cores, but actually Nather cores are sleeper good versus them. More of them on the way, but you're going to need to get your other ones in there. Yeah, you can't run away from Nather cores if you're an air unit. You just can't. If they stuck on you, good luck trying to escape them. We've seen these nimble units that maybe are or are not expendable. In the case of the Nather core, I feel like they're a bit gas intensive, right? But everybody mining. This expand to the 6 o'clock is a nice fake out because Jack has now scouted AOT's base. And he kind of knows, okay, I know what's going on now. But he doesn't. Jack does not know because, oh, there's no natural? There is. It's just the 3rd. Adding some anti-air to his bases. I love this Khazitras placement because it will also apply to that Spraith. Defensive posture here from Art of Turtle. Looks like he won't actually be able to lose that Gorg. So Jakulangski kind of in the doldrums here. I did catch wind of 2 Starpad Valkyrie. So an interesting choice, a couple of rates on the way as well. And we have preemptively placed Madrigals in our mineral line. Okay, Kasuga, I see you. Definitely on that defensive mind, right? He's got the Cestus. The Cestus works that as long as the unit is facing the source of its damage, it will gain armor. So that's very, very impactful. And of course, for structures, it always applies. So it applies to anchors, applies to things like that. Jack trying to think about expanding towards his Zerg opponent. Interesting. I guess if you know that your opponent has gone mech as a Terran player, maybe even if they haven't, just because they could always pull that out. Phalanxes make it really easy to just siege down bases, and so maybe you're thinking, oh, I'll hedge my bets and expand towards the Zerg, since they might have a harder time actually busting me. Especially if they haven't gone Hydrith, right? There's no Hydras here for Art of Turtle. Instead, he's gone Vornath and, of course, the Zerk. And his Iris is already on the way. We do not have that for Jakulangski. Sticking it out at tier 1 for now. And it looks like an Nather core does end up getting swatted out of the sky. So, all right. I mean, as far as I can tell right now, Kasuga on the way to expand to the bottom left. So he wants to take another main. I feel like that's really hard for him to defend, but I guess if the threats are going to be airborne in nature, he can have a pretty mobile force. Triple Starpad making Wraiths and Valkyries. Not a terrible idea if you think that you're up against a lot of Sky Zerg. And now we see the rest of Jakulangski moving out here. The Jack organ, the oil organ, moving forward. You know, I'm liking the position here in different ways for all of our players, but I do feel like maybe Art of Turtle needs to get his military into into the swing of things. He's got a lot of quads patrolling inside the main, but he's not really set up to defend versus a ground-based attack. And we even have the Sovoleth coming in from our beige Zerg player. Workers get evacuated, but the Bactylisks can get activated, and that is going to be some good damage there. The Gorgs need to try to engage, but honestly, he might just be routed here real early. He's in the middle of transitioning his tech, getting that Ultrav Cavern, 18 Lyrilisks on the way. That will be able to rout this battle, but can he hold long enough for them to hatch? That's kind of an open question right now. Emergency Zethra cores being deployed. The natural has been busted. The 6 o'clock was never scouted by Jack, to my knowledge. So as long as he gets held here, even if he kills some production, might not be the end of the world. The Lyrilisks are hatched. What else are we going to see out of this engagement here? Okay, there you go. They come out from the south. You're going to use that cliff advantage, and really they should try to get on top of these very important Bactylisks, because they're kind of stopping themselves because they're not moving forward, so they're wiggling around each other, doing their best to try to actually deploy onto that back line. Well, I think it's a tight hold, but he might be able to do it. There's just a couple more units back here. Thankfully, these Lyrilisks, even though they weren't all, like, the damage density was not really quite there for Art of Turtle, they kept moving back and forth, and so they kind of dodged some of the bounce attacks that could have happened, and so, yeah. Should be good enough. I love the Sacrificial Avaleth movement because he's trying to save his Bactyls, but AOT is a pretty savvy guy, so that's not going to work out. A lot of Hydras here to defend the third base of Jack. These few paltry Lyrilisks are not going to be enough to bust that, but we've got more coming, and we've got some Zethra cores. So can he get around that bridge? If he maybe tries to route out and, kind of splinter attack a little bit, pincer attack or something, that could be a thing. But right now, both Zergs are kind of depleted after attacking each other, right? And, AOT looking for that leverage, looking to see if he can make more value, make more magic happen with his tier 1 and tier 2 units. And he's kind of torn between attacking the third with some of his army, which he is doing, getting right on top of those Bactylisks as they're hatching, and attacking the natural, which is going to be... this movement feels a little bit awkward for AOT. Maybe he could have just fallen back. At least the Zethra cores can start doing some damage to the hatch. I don't think they're quite going to be able to break it down, though. Just a few too many Hydras here. They are going to go ahead and bust them just at the last moment. So, good ups there. But, I mean, behind all of this, the Terran is teching up to tier 2, scaling their attack force. They got loads of air units. They've got Mantles coming up online, and a really strong anti-surface force with a bottom left base on the way. We got Sentinels. We got Watchdogs. And tier 2 now coming for Jakulangski with his third base finally being saturated on the gas department, capping all of his ridges. And look at this, AOT taking the bottom left natural. Has no idea that Kasuga is up there with a very vulnerable base. I think if you just leave Kasuga to play PvE, PvU, player versus self, that's really not a great position for him to be in. There's a lot of Zeth, a lot of Quas, and some Gorgs. I don't really think Jakulangski's going to be able to break open this position, but AOT, where are you at? Where are you at, my boy? I think he might have taken AFK for a moment. Now he's going to sick his Lyrilisks and his Zeth in on the fight. Was that a good enough fight for Jack to actually clear and push up into this? This feels really deadly, actually. I guess the next round of units will rout this, but it's going to be expensive. He's going to lose a Larvosk. At the same time, the Wraith attack is coming in, really punishing Jakulangski from pushing in. He says, I knew it, as the Zethra cores start to descend. So that's going to rout his attack force there, and now he's really in deep doo-doo. The Valks just, oh my god, they melted those Nathra cores in seconds flat. We finally found a case for the Valkyries to be used. There's a lot of Spraiths over here. We have, 3 more still going. Oxel Cesiant's on the way. The Wraith count is starting to fall. He needs to get his Ant-Seals over those Wraiths to defend them. And it feels like maybe he doesn't quite have enough. He's going to go ahead and bust this one Spraith. Oh, no. Oh, my God. Oh, leaves with 4 health. I can't believe it. All the air units going down. That was pretty bad because obviously the Ant-Seals detected the Droleths. So... How am I not dead? Well, you built 4 Spraiths. I don't know what you thought was going to happen. At the end of the day, that army was a lot more powerful versus air units than ground units. Okay, so where are we at right now? Because it looks to me like Art of Turtle, he's struggling to reset his eco. He's got no mineral income coming from his main base. He has not capped his gas in the main, but he has in the third and in his fourth. Well, I should say his natural, right? His natural and his fourth, because this was his third, but he's never retaken it. So, yeah, I think that's an unfortunate spot here. Jack is going to get routed up there in the a 12 o'clock position. He'll look over and see that the Terrans are starting to lay claim to it. That's another weird part of this map, is that where do you even expand to? Well, it turns out AOT's got some Zeths guarding 9 o'clock, so nothing is going to go there for free. And maybe jakulangski's thinking about attacking into this position of Kasuga's. He's got so many blackjacks back at home. He doesn't realize it right now, but he could probably A-move this position, like right to about here, deploy the phalanxes, and then kind of leapfrog based on that. But again, he's a Protoss player normally, so does he really know the technical requirements there? I'm not so sure. AOT now realizing, oh shit, this territory is already claimed, and there's a lot of static D up there. Well, truce. Zarkave, of course, on the way for Jack. He has made the Ultrav Cavern his Oxal Cesients, allowing him to bypass the root cause of the unit. So basically, it's sort of like being able to make a lurker from a larva in Starcraft 1. That's sort of the way that you can think about it, as that advanced mutation, or a guardian, right? The same kind of thing. Now the Calculisks are here, and they are doing okay with the split. Good micro from Art of Turtle. That was really, that should not have even gotten that close, because he almost picked off all 3 of the initial Zarks, and that would have been really, really nice. He's got more coming. They just end up hatching, and look at that. The Zarks are stacked up. This is the opportune time, but he's going to pre-split him instead. Go for a round of Quasilisks. See if he can soak up the damage. Here we go. Now going to fire forward. A lot of those Zarks were really, really wounded. And yeah, they're not going to quite be able to do anything there. I think they killed 1 or 2. We got 1 Calc still attacking. Don't do that. And it looks like a Vulture just kind of sneaking through, seeing what's going on. We still have 2 Zarks back here, but those are kind of expensive units. 4 more hatching for Jack. Remember, he still has 3 mining bases, even if his main is indeed depleted on the mineral front. This one's not really that far off from being depleted. Kasuga has the best eco for sure. Technically, though, AOT has equivalent eco potential. As long as he keeps this base shut down and eventually takes his natural, he will be in a good spot. Now, here come the Calculisks trying to fight Kasuga. Look how little damage the Cestus-empowered Sentinels take. Now, there's no anti-air. I was going to say, there's some anti-air in the way back, but he's not going to lift those off, right? So the Sentinels are going to start to fall. And here come the Wraiths. And, of course, the Valkyries. They do fly over AOT's Zethrakors, but it doesn't look like he really reacts to them. And the Wraiths, I love Kasuga getting right on top of the enemy with their shotgun-style attack there. So the Wraiths will be needed as the Valkyries mostly get cleaned. But they did the job, and now, I mean, it doesn't really look like this is going to be something that can be dealt with by what AOT has back at home. He might have picked a fight with the wrong player, as the Zarks are going to come in and just waylay everything he has. The Ultrav Cavern. He never used the Ultrav Cavern. He never made a single, Gorg into a Zark or Zoryus into an Ultra Core. There's nothing there. Absolutely nothing. And it's going to be minced to pieces. I mean, that's pretty deadly. At this point, he's starting to think, maybe I should remake my stuff over here. But look, he waypoints a bunch of Zets in there, and they just get creamed. There's absolutely nothing that Art of Turtle can do. Trying to pick a fight with Kasuga while jakulangski's absolutely rinsing him back at home. It's like the messages never got sent to the front lines on the other side. Hey, come back, or at least don't continue sending stuff. I don't know if Art of Turtle would have been able to route all of these Arcavicors with if his Calculisks were there previously, but this is looking pretty bad. And now Jack, to add insult to injury, he is infesting stuff, which does bypass regression, which means he can infest things like the Vornath Pond instead of it turning back into something else. So he's going to go ahead and infest the Hatcherosk. It's just brutal. He's trying to grab the Iroll as well, which he will do. He will 100% infest that. An infested Zerg structure. I mean, you've heard it here first. AOT getting killed on the other side as well. The Antseals doing their best to protect the Wraiths. One of them will end up falling, but there you go. There you have it. I think at this point AOT has been bopped. We got infested Larvosk, infested Hatch. This must tickle Jack's fancy right here. He's even going to take the Eskagan. Why not? Sycrilisks are being made by Art of Turtle right now. He is grabbing them, courtesy of the Mutat Spire. Is he going to have enough to actually clear the Wraiths? I think so. Especially with the Khazitrith in there. That definitely helped out. So the Wraiths are routed. There's nothing else anti-surface in that army. We haven't really checked in with what is going on in the Kasuga place, but I guess he's taken 12 o'clock, further cementing his dominant stranglehold on the economy. And since Jack has taken the bottom right main, technically, with Infestation, it kind of feels to me like he's in a good position. Oh my god, he's... That's so silly. It feels like he's taken a strong spot since he's going to have access to Art of Turtle's natural, right? AOT has a lot of money in the bank, but no real way to spend it. Jack just kind of swooping in and claiming bases. He'll take an Excision for free as well. Why not? It's brutal. It's a total mess. What do you do? Reduced to just one base from your mighty stronghold. You got one Zeth in there, getting some value. It's a little funny that Jack is actually making Droleth here. I guess it's better than nothing, but he needs to double saturate everything because they move half as fast. So it's not as efficient as you would want to be, and this is a depleted base anyway, and it's getting killed by a single Zethra core. So yeah, very funny, very amusing. So as of right now, double hatch being added in the main base. I guess technically that's the only base for Art of Turtle. I guess technically he's still alive, still around. The Zarkava core, when it gets hit, releases like a secondary weapon, the Venom, and it kind of like damages in a line any unit. So you can just kind of point them over an army, and they will passively get some value by doing that. But Ireliris now being rebuilt here for Art of Turtle. Tier 3 coming for jakulangski. I don't know, man. Kasuga's got a big army, but he's not really doing anything with it, right? He's now adding a bunch of rotaries. Maybe he wants to go for mass Sundog play, or it could be Salamanders as well. A single Sundog is already out attacking this hatch. I'm very impressed that it wasn't being decloaked by that range. That's very funny. Ooh. And here comes the end. Oh, he's got Sikralisks with Khazit-Rith. Oh, immediately going after the Khazit-Rith. That was a really big move there. The Sikralisks do deal a lot of splash damage, right? And there's still technically some, but they're attacking the one that's not stacked. All of them are over here. Oh my god, the Sikralisks almost kill everything, and in fact, more of them hatch. That's really big right there. Still, I don't quite think it's going to be enough. Oh, I love the usage of the Matrolets there, but now the air units are here to make matters worse, and it looks like pretty much every Zarkava core is going to go down. Again, jakulangski throwing away his army, attacking a player that might as well be dead, while Kasuga continues to build up. This is a failure of game theory. But Jack still has a powerful position. He's taken over the whole bottom right of the map. As depleted as it may be in some ways, in some areas, it's about even on the economy. And as Art of Turtle is slowly pushed out of this game by the airy force of Kasuga, and I guess of jakulangski as well, man, he's down to almost nothing. He still has a bank of 1,000 minerals. Now here comes a big attack wave from Jack because he's trying to defend his territory from Kasuga's position, but there's so many blackjacks. Preemptive deployment of the phalanxes just in case there were more ground units to come. No detection. No, I tell a lie. We have ant seals in the building. So those Lycasilisks will not be as effective as really he wanted them to be. He's got a lot of blackjack, so he can't afford to attack into this position, but it would be pretty ugly. It just feels like if all the tech falls, jakulangski won't really have an opportunity to do much of anything. His Taj Rohan and Axtoth Axis are on the way. Those are tier 3 tech structures that jakulangski is going to try to use to bail him out of trouble. Antseal revealing those Lakes. Oh my god, they are actually going to fall. Doing a lot of damage to the blackjacks, but they're so expendable and so numerous, it almost doesn't matter. Frontline falling. Is there anything left? jakulangski only has 3 Convolisks on the way. I don't think he can actually hold this back. There's no way that the natural holds long enough. There's no way the main holds long enough for the tech to actually come out. But remember, as he comes in with his Zarkava cores, he clears all of the 12 o'clock position, and they deal splash damage. I don't think Kasuga knows that. As he falls back, all his blackjacks are in a good enough position, I guess. Yeah, all right, he's actually routed it. Of course, the Zarks could have done nothing to this army. He says hash, but apparently I was told that there was a hash, but that the game continued normally and it was fine. So there you go. That's my disclaimer. Maybe the reason he says that is because it's about to end. I don't really see how he can possibly do much from this position. He is starting to leverage his tier 3 tech. The distraction may have been enough time. That Wraith was not going to do it. Antseal flies in and just ends up dying. That's definitely a careless move since he has no other source of detection unless he deploys that Shaman, but right now it's not a huge deal. Now okay, we've got the Sovrolets here. He's going to try to use the eggs to make the magic happen. Maybe it's going to be enough? Well, no, it feels like the Cataphracts are numerous enough. He just needs to get up that tiny, tiny ramp. Yeah, the Sovroleth count is a little bit too low right now, I think. jakulangski seconds from being able to find some value. The Zarks get cleared. 1 Sovroleth escapes to the south. We got 6 more over here that aren't currently being attacked. And yeah, over here, it's a rough spot. Art of Turtle is sticking it out in the main base right now. He's still holding out hope. The rest of Kasuga's army. Oh, it's not on an attack move. He just says BRB. I love it. Right now, Kasuga's like, I forgot to say this earlier. That's all right. The Eccentralisks are still making stuff happen. They should 100% be attack moved there. I guess Kasuga was trying to translate the term hash. A little, you know? He could go after the 3 o'clock position here and probably should. The tech is the next to fall. Main base completely scarred. We do have a bunch of Sovrolets here. Oh, and I think we have Jakulangski bug abusing is his last vestigial chance to maybe win this game. It shouldn't be enough considering how much Kasuga has, but he has been a little bit hazardous. Oh my god, he's got so much back here. I should probably just say never mind, but if Kasuga doesn't, you know, go for a united frontal push versus what Jakulangski has, he could potentially be picked apart. And he's only now finishing the job on this tech, and the Tozrel Haunt's the main one, right? He can't make more Sovrolets without that. Well, directly. He can do it from corpses and bug abuse like this. All right, well, the structures are falling. The tier 3 is gone. He does still have the tier 2 he infested earlier from Art of Turtle, so it's not a complete reset. He probably did that as a demoralization play / epic, but in fact, it's actually going to be somewhat impactful here because he can still make some of the tech back, right? And he does make some Gafthalusks as well, so that's pretty big. Oh, he continues to bug abuse right before our eyes. AOT still just kind of hanging out over here. Oh, the Air Force is going to clear AOT's position. And you know, the Sikralisks can probably destroy a lot of these forces even if he's on autopilot. Gotta watch out because they do deal splash damage. Looks like this is the last position, but there is no active detection here. I think the Seraph is stuck over here. Yeah, it is. Oh, no. Well, the Sikralisks aren't really... They are on hold position. That actually helps out a little bit. I love the Irradiate on the Spear Tip, which does have a bounce attack. And the Iral Iris was detecting, so it was actually hitting a lot of the Sundogs. Here's the big force. We've got how many Sovrolets? Only 32. It's actually doable with these Katas count. He just needs to actually push in here and micro his army a little bit further forward, but he's busy trying to deal with the defeated player here who's just kind of out of it, right? AOT now eliminated from the game. What's happening over here? The Sovrolets continue. They've only risen a little bit here. His Cataphracts really need to step forward. The Phalanxes are kind of bogging him down here. A single Alcagelisk has been spotted. That actually could be pretty impactful. It's going to take a while for all these Katas to bring it down, and in that time, the Sovrolets can make some more magic happen. Where's the rest of the army from Kasuga? He's only making Valkyries right now, which aren't dreadful, but they aren't going to be the be-all, end-all. Yeah, unfortunately for Kasuga, it looks like he's maybe dallied a little bit too long. / allowed Jakulangski to get away with bug abuse. He's trying to get a little bit more, but it's really hard to, actually, when they get this many stacked up with each other, right? They end up getting to a point where there's... they can't really move that well. So, did I got ooh for real, question mark? Oh, he's still bug abusing. So Salamanders do deal AoE versus ground, but not versus air. His the Valkyrie count here is looking pretty good. If he can get more of those, I guess a Radiate wouldn't be bad. Ramses is really what he needs. He needs a lot of Ramses, and he needs to be able to actually get them onto the fight, or admittedly just keep going Katas. But like Ramsey Salamander to rend the armor of the Alkage would definitely work out a lot. So Salamanders do rend armor versus air targets as well as ground. Can be pretty useful in that respect. I love fighting around the Cestus as well. That's going to be a big move. Katas and Blackjacks over here. Oh, okay. He dives onto the Alcagelisks. I think he might just assume that those are the real threats, but I don't think that's really true. Does he have enough to actually clear all of the Sovs? Obviously, Jakulangski kind of spread out over here. He's using D-Matrix as best he can. The Valkyries need to get on top of those units, and they do. Okay, we could be in for it now, but there's another stack of them over here, 17. The air units are going to need to do something about that. This one Alcagelisk is going to end up falling. And actually, yeah, it looks like Jakulangski's army, it's pretty low. It's pretty small right now. Kasuga narrowly trying his best to get some more value done. I mean, he is up against an abuser, so I'm not going to stop saying that, by the way. If you make Sovrolets out of broodlings, you know, broodling corpses, you are a bug abuser. You cannot change my mind on that. The Valks need to be coming a little bit further forward here. The Wyverns obviously don't attack air, but that's just Kasuga not quite knowing about that. The Watchdog clears some of those. Good D-Matrix usage. There's more of them where that came from, but, you know, the count is dropping. He needs to get his Azazels Still, he needs to keep his Azazels with his army for that armor boost. Oh, he's not quite doing it. And yeah, he's going to start to falter a little bit here. We needed to see more Katas at some point. He had the money, but he's not quite spending it. They are a bit expensive. Oh, he never got the gas. He never got the gas from, he never capped the gas in pretty much any base for the geyser. He definitely never got the Vespene from here. He's not even mining from the ridges, let alone capping them. Still, this is an opportunity. He comes on forward. Sundog's making stuff happen. Wyverns rallied over there, kind of just reducing the amount of value that Jakulangski can get out of his Sovs onto the front line. The Valk stack is still rising pretty well. I think Sundogs are okay to still mix in. There's no splash damage with this composition from Jack. He's making the occasional Alcagelisk, and that's pretty much it. But the Valk count needs to keep rising. That's like one of the major things here. And it is falling, right? It's only down to 6. Sundog count also dropping. Valkyrie's doing their best to try to bring stuff down. We got 4 more coming in here, but they don't have the armor boost. And a lot of the money was spent on these Wyverns, and they only attack ground units. Surely Kasuga regrets that decision now. He did have a couple of Katas finish, and those are very impactful versus this composition. They don't suck versus Alkas, and they're pretty good versus Sovs. Ooh, zoning Irradiate. Well, Jack, I guess we'll walk into it. Good D-Matrix is there. He's really down low on minerals. So he's very much gated behind that for other units, but I think it's going to be a little bit too much here. GG is called. Kasuga not quite sure how to deal with it, and yeah, well, as epic as this FFA was, it was definitely marred by bug abuse, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. I think Jakulangski really let us down by doing a bug abuse move. If he had earned it fair and square, that would have been one thing. But, you know, also Kasuga still had room to win here, which is really surprising. Just kind of demonstrates how powerful his lead was. Maybe if he mines this gas earlier, he wins anyway. Or if he just kind of doesn't make Wyverns and instead makes more units that can shoot up and do so in a good way. But I hope you guys enjoyed the game. Obviously, the Sovrolets are a real super weapon for the Zerg. Gotta watch out for them. And definitely something to watch out for. So, Art of Turtle was eliminated earlier. Kasuga ends up falling. And Jakulangski reigns supreme in the FFA. We'll be back tomorrow for more Cosmonarchy. So, subscribe, stay tuned. I'll see you then.